हाय दोस्तों, तो आज की इस वीडियो में हम फिर से कंटिन्यू करने जा रहे हैं हैरी पॉटर एंड द फिलोसोफर्स स्टोन। तो आज की वीडियो को शुरू करने से पहले मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताना चाहूँगा कि आप ध्यान से सुना करिए हमारी वीडियो को, क्योंकि आज की इस वीडियो में या अगली वीडियोस में मैं एंड में एक क्वेश्चन पूछा करूँगा और जो उसका आंसर सबसे पहले और सबसे सही आंसर देगा उसका मैं नाम अपने वीडियो में लूँगा। तो अब कंटिन्यू करते हैं। तो हमने यहाँ तक पढ़ा था, I'll bet that was Dilius Digley. He never had much sense. तो यहाँ तक पढ़ा था, ठीक है। अब हम आगे का शुरू करते हैं। You can't blame them, said Dumbledore gently. We have had precious little to celebrate for 11 years. I know that, said Professor McGonagall irritably. But that's no reason to lose our heads. People are being downright careless out on the streets in broad daylight, not even dressed in Mughal clothes, swamping rumors. She threw a sharp, sideways glance at Dumbledore here, as though hoping he was going to tell her something, but he didn't. So she went on. A fine thing it would be if, on the very day you know who seems to have disappeared at last, the Mughals found out about us all. I suppose he is really gone, Dumbledore? It certainly seems so, said Dumbledore. We have much to be thankful for. Would you care for a sherbet lemon? A what? A sherbet lemon. They are a kind of Mughal sweets I am rather fond of. No, thank you, said Professor McGonagall cloudily, as though she didn't think this was the moment for sherbet lemons. As I say, even if you know who has gone, my dear professor, surely a sensible person like you can call him by his name. All this you know who nonsense. For 11 years, I have been trying to persuade people to call him by his proper name, Voldemort. Professor McGonagall flinched, but Dumbledore, who was unsticking to sherbet lemons, seemed not to notice. It all gets confusing. If we keep saying you know who, I have never seen any reason to be frightened of saying Voldemort's name. I know you haven't, said Professor McGonagall, sounding half expected, half admiring. But you are different. Everyone knows you are the only one you know who. All right, Voldemort was frightened of. You flatter me, said Dumbledore calmly. Voldemort had powers I will never have, only because you are too well noble to use them. It's lucky it's dark. I haven't blushed so much since Madame Pomfrey told me she liked my new earmuffs. Professor McGonagall shot a sharp look at Dumbledore and said, the owls are nothing to the rumors that they are flying around. You know that everyone's saying, you know what everyone's saying about why he's disappeared, about what finally stopped him. It seemed that Professor McGonagall had reached the point she was most anxious to discuss. The real reason she had been waiting on a cold, hard wall all day. For neither as a cat nor as a woman had she fixed Dumbledore with such a piercing stare, and she did now. It was plain that whatever everyone was saying, she was not going to believe it until Dumbledore told her it was true. Dumbledore, however, was choosing another sherbet lemon and did not answer. What they are saying, she pressed on. It's the last night Voldemort turned up in Godric's Hollow. He went to find the Potters. The rumor that Lily and James Potter are dead, that they are dead. Dumbledore blowed his head. Dumbledore blowed. Dumbledore bowed his head. Professor McGonagall gasped. Lily and James, I can't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Oh, Albus. Dumbledore reached out and patted her on the shoulder. I know, he said heavily. Professor McGonagall's voice trembled as she went on. That's not all. They are saying he tried to kill Potter's son, Harry, but he couldn't. He couldn't kill that little boy. No one knows why or how, but they are saying that when he couldn't kill Harry Potter, Voldemort's power somehow broke, and that's why he's gone. Dumbledore nodded glumly. It's true, flattered Professor McGonagall. After all, he's done all the people he killed. He couldn't kill a little boy. It's just astounding all the things to stop him. But how in the name of heaven did Harry survive? We can only guess, said Dumbledore. We may never know. Professor McGonagall pulled out a lace handkerchief and dabbed at her eyes beneath her spectacles. Dumbledore gave a great sniff as he took a golden watch from his pocket and examined it. It was a very odd watch. It had 12 hands but no numbers. Instead, little planets were moving around the edges. It must have made sense to Dumbledore, though, because he put it back in his pocket and said, Hagrid's late. I suppose it was he who told you I would be here, by the way. Yes, said Professor McGonagall, and I don't suppose you are going to tell me why you are here, of all places. I have come to bring Harry to his aunt and uncle. They are the only family he has left now. You can't mean the people who live here, cried Professor McGonagall, jumping on her feet and pointing at number 4. Dumbledore, you can't. I have been watching them all day. You couldn't find two people who are less like us, and they have got this son. I saw him kicking his mother all the way up the streets, screaming for sweets. Harry Potter, come and live here. It's the best place for him, said Dumbledore firmly. His aunt and uncle will be able to explain everything to him when he is older. I have written a letter to them. A letter? Repeated Professor McGonagall faintly, sitting back down on the wall. Really? Dumbledore, you think you can explain all this in a letter? These people will never understand him. He will be famous, a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in future. There will be books written about Harry. Every child in our world will know his name. Exactly, said Dumbledore, looking very serious over the top of his half-moon's glasses. It would be enough to turn any boy's head. Famous for before he can walk and talk. Famous for something he won't even remember. Can't you see how much better off he will be growing up away from all that until he is ready to take it? Professor McGonagall opened her mouth, changed her mind, swallowed, and then said, Yes, you are right. Of course. But how is the boy getting here, Dumbledore? She eyed his cloak suddenly as though she thought he might be hiding Harry underneath it. Hagrid's bringing him. You think it's wise to trust Hagrid with something as important as this? I would trust Hagrid with my life, said Dumbledore. I am not saying his heart isn't in the right place, said Professor McGonagall grudgingly. But you can't pretend he's not careless. He does tend to what was that? A low rumbling sound had broken the silence around them. It grew steadily louder as they looked up and down the street for some sign of a headlight. It swelled to a roar as they both looked up at the sky, and a huge motorbike fell out of the air and landed on the road in front of them. If the motorbike was huge, it was nothing to the man sitting beside it. He was almost twice as tall as a normal man and at least 5 times as wide. He looked so simply too big to be allowed, so wild. Long tangles of his bushy black hair and beard hid most of his face. He had hands size of dustbin lids. His feet in their leather boots were like baby dolphins. In his vast, muscular arms, he was holding a bundle of blankets. Hagrid, said Dumbledore, sounding relieved. At last, and where did you get that motorbike? Borrowed it, Professor Dumbledore, sir, said the giant, climbing carefully off the motorbike as he spoke. Young Sirius Black lent it me. I have got him, sir. No problems there. तो दोस्तों यहाँ होता है हमारी आज के पेजेस ख़त्म. तो जैसा कि मैंने कहा था, क्वेश्चन आज के लिए बेसिकली 2 क्वेश्चंस हैं. पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि हैग्रिड जो कि जायंट है वो किस चीज़ पर आया था, किस व्हीकल पर आया था, तो वो आपको बताना है. और हैग्रिड को जो व्हीकल है वो किसने दिया, ठीक है. तो जो दोनों क्वेश्चंस का आंसर सबसे पहले कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखेगा वो उसका मैं नाम लूँगा अपनी अगली वीडियो में. तो अब मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, देखते हैं कौन सबसे जल्दी जवाब दे पाता है. बाय बाय.